Hello tennis fans. So at the time of making this video, Rafa is ahead of Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic in the so-called GOAT race. But is he really the greatest tennis player of all time? Well, in this video, I hope to answer that question once and for all. Now, there are many viewpoints to be considered when determining the greatest tennis player of all time. The number of Grand Slam titles is the most obvious and easiest metric for those who wish to determine who the real GOAT is. But as you will see in this video, it's not the only one. Rafa is on 22 wins, moving him 2 ahead of both Roger Federer and Novak. His win at the French Open a few weeks back has really been pivotal in carving him a substantial lead. But looking purely at the numbers does not tell the full picture. Obviously, it is not possible to quantify their different playing styles, how they have adapted their games, their physical and mental strength, nor how they have overcome the tough moments that have peppered all of their careers. But it does provide the framework for the debate. Now let's have a closer look at how the race to the greatest of all time transpired. From a clear front-runner to a 3-horse race, the race to be crowned the GOAT, in terms of major titles, is tighter between the top 3 men than many thought it would ever be. When Federer overtook Pete Sampras' previous best mark, winning his 15th Grand Slam title at Wimbledon in 2009, few thought he would ever be caught. At that stage, Rafa had only won 6 majors, and 22-year-old Novak had not added to his maiden title at the Australian Open in 2008. After winning at least 1 major in every year from 2003 to 2010, Federer's trajectory began to plateau in 2011, the same year Djoko took his game to new levels. Another Wimbledon title followed for Federer in 2012, but then, thanks to a combination of his rival's brilliance and his injuries, Roger did not win another major for 4 years. Most wrote him off, as Rafa and Novak closed on his tally, before Federer's big comeback in 2017, when his rivals stumbled because of injury and loss of form, kept him at least 3 titles ahead. That was until 2019. When Rafa and Novak shared the 4 majors equally between them, leaving the trio closer than ever. Then Federer had company for the first time since he was briefly level with Sampras in 2009 after Nadal's win at the French Open in 2020. Novak pulled level 2 after winning the Australian Open, French Open and Wimbledon titles in 2021. But he missed the opportunity to add to his 9 triumphs in Melbourne when he was deported from Australia in a ridiculous visa incident, connected to him not being vaccinated. The Serb is a year younger than Rafa and has time on his side compared with 40-year-old Roger, who did not play in Melbourne because of a knee injury. Now, to really become the GOAT, you need to play at the highest level on every surface. So how do they compare on different surfaces? Some argue that Rafa's utter dominance on the French clay means he is perhaps not as complete an all-round player as Federer and Djokovic are. The king of clay has won a staggering 13 of his 21 major titles in Paris. Neither Federer nor Djokovic has been as dominant at one place, although nor has any other player, male or female, in the history of the sport. And that says a lot, perhaps, and that is that the Spanish player's game is kind of one-dimensional. I'm just saying, don't slaughter me in the comments section. But having said that, Federer and Novak do each have a Grand Slam they have lost over the years, and at which they hold the record for the number of men's titles won. Novak has claimed 9 of his 20 victories on the Australian Open hard courts, while Roger has won 8 of his 20 majors on the Wimbledon grass. However, the Swiss player has not achieved what Rafa has now joined Novak in doing. That is winning at least 2 slams on each surface. By beating Medvedev, Rafa has become the 2nd man in the Open era and 4th in history to win each of the 4 majors twice. Federer, meanwhile, has won just once in France. How have they fared against each other? This is another area where the Serb's claims are strengthened. He has a better overall head-to-head record in his past meetings with both Federer and Rafa. However, the Spaniard has a better record against the Serb in just their Grand Slam meetings, and has also come out on top more often when he has faced Federer. But how do they compare in terms of longevity? Aside from Grand Slam titles, the length of time spent as the world #1 is another indicator. Some would say an even more accurate metric. Novak has spent the most weeks in history at the top of the men's rankings. The Serb has not been dislodged since February 2020 and, after Rafa beat world number 2 Medvedev, was top of the rankings for a 357th week of his career. That is well ahead of Federer's 310 weeks, with Pete Sampras at 287, Ivan Lendl at 270, Jimmy Connors at 268, and Rafa trailing behind at 209. What about the other big tournaments? While Grand Slams attract the most attention, there are plenty of other important tournaments that feed into this debate about who is the GOAT. Of the big three, Federer has won the most titles in his career. In fact, only American Jimmy Connors, who won 109 titles, has bettered this alley in the men's game. Federer also leads the way in terms of winning the end-of-season tour finals, considered by most a fifth Grand Slam. The Swiss has won 6 of those events, which see a round-robin group followed by a knockout stage for the world's top 8 leading players over the season. Novak has won the event 5 times, while Rafa curiously has never won. Rafa is a 2-time runner-up, losing to Federer in 2010 and Novak in 2013, but has missed 5 of the past 10 tournaments. Below the Grand Slams and Tour Finals, the next tier of events are the 9 Masters tournaments. Since 2009, these have been held on hard courts in Indian Wells, Miami, Canada, alternating between Montreal and Toronto, Cincinnati, Shanghai and Paris, with clay court events in Monte Carlo, Madrid and Rome. Last year, Shanghai did not take place because of the pandemic, so 8 were held. Novak won indoors in Paris to claim his 37th Masters title and again moved clear of Rafa, who won in Rome earlier in the year. Behind the pair of Federer, Andre Agassi and Andy Murray. In 2018, Novak became the first and only man to win all 9 Masters tournaments. Now you have considered the evidence. Who do you think is the men's GOAT? Have your say in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and see you again soon.